Greetings, it is I, Ryuji Dread. How are all you doing today, Dread Knights? We are going to be playing more Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Today I'm not going to be doing any amiibos. I'm just going to be messing around, practicing some characters, messing around with some characters that I don't normally play. We're going to be going against CPUs. I'm not going to be jumping into any online battles today. CPU level is set to 7. The reason why I don't have it set to 9 is because 9 enforces really bad habits in Smash Bros. As opposed to CPU level 7, is usually the CPUs are going to act more like most players that you are going to run into in typical Smash Bros. Matches. I'm actually pretty good at Mega Man, I just haven't played him in a while. Mega Man was a little bit better in Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and the 3DS. Because you remember, there was Brawl, and then after Brawl, they just called it Super Smash Bros. Which was kind of funny that they just randomly called it that. I think they called it like that with the 3DS/Wii U, if I remember correctly. I had it on the 3DS version, because as I mentioned before on the channel, I've never owned a Wii U, because I just didn't really care for anything that the Wii U was basically offering. You know, I didn't really care for Splatoon, I didn't really care for half the games. I can't even remember if there was even a Mario game that came out on the Wii U. If anybody who actually owned a Wii U can confirm whether there was a Mario game that actually came out, it was like a new Mario game on the Wii U, let me know, because I think like it had been a long time. Oh, there was a, what was it, Super Mario 3D World, which then got ported to the Switch because nobody bought a Wii U. So how is all the Dread Knights doing today on this Tuesday? As I mentioned before, on the schedule I do have a couple of things planned. Smash Bros. Definitely, because I think a lot of people enjoyed this. On top of that, another thing that I have planned tomorrow is that we will be playing Diablo 3 again. I'll be playing, this time, the Demon Hunter. Thinking we're going to play Unhollow Essence Armor, and then Friday, if time allows for it, I am going to play some League of Legends again, try to get a little bit better in that game, try to see if we can raise our level to level 30. So that's ideally what I have planned for this week, is as always dependent on how the laptop is doing and if it wants to cooperate, because it is a bit sick and it still has issues, it still crashes. Certain games, I play them and it will crash after a certain amount of time, or if I play one game and then I back out of the game, my computer will almost certainly crash out of that. So I have to be careful what I put there. That was a good down smash on my part there. I have also played Zero Suit Samus before. I'm just not super great with her. Like, I'm mostly sticking to characters so that I actually feel like playing. So how was everybody's weekend, by the way? Because this past weekend, I don't know if any of you really follow, like, astrology and anything of that nature, but we had actually a full moon. I don't know if this is true or not, because sometimes I feel like it is a little bit true. Maybe it's a psychological effect or whatnot, but, you know, they say people act very moody and grumpy during full moons. And I gotta be honest with everybody, Dread Knights, this weekend, I just seem to have run into a whole bunch of moody people everywhere I went. Like, you know, I go outside, you run into moody people. You're at home and you're talking to friends, and you run into, like, they're moody, or you're talking to family members and they're moody. I don't know what it is with whenever there's a full moon, or they announce that there's a full moon, that people, like, I don't know if it's like they psychosomatically program into their head that this is what's gonna happen, that they're gonna be in a bad mood, but it seems to be the case. I don't know, like, I had a lot of people over the weekend just, like, acting irritable that I know, and then on top of, like, acting irritable, they were, like, acting, I don't know, strange. I've had a really weird month interpersonally, like, where I've had a lot of people that, like, I just know whether they're friends, family, no love interests, right? Because I've said this before, I'm not in a relationship, really. But, like, well, not even really, I'm definitely not in a relationship, at least to my knowledge. But, like, I've just noticed, like, this last month, people have been acting really strange. I don't know if it's maybe because it's the spring, and it's like the summer blues, that people are really waiting for the summer to come along, or maybe it's because of everything that's been going on, particularly here in the United States, because there's just a lot of crazy stuff with, like, everything the president has been doing. I don't want to get into politics, so I'm not really going to talk about politics, but I think it has a lot of people on edge. Because, you know, when we have people whose 401ks are getting messed around with for crazy statements that the president's making, and then you have a lot of people who have been losing their jobs because of everything that's going on, when they thought they weren't going to be losing their jobs. And there's a lot of, like, I don't want to say food insecurity yet, but like there's a lot of impacts from stuff that's going on and decisions. And I think a lot of people are very irritable because they figured things were going to be a little bit differently. I don't know how they thought that, honestly. Like, I think a lot of people bought a con artist remarks and thought that like it was going to make things better instead. Kind of made things a lot worse, at least for the moment. We'll see. You know, time will tell, I suppose. I don't want to get political, but I think a lot of people that are friends of mine, or a lot of people that are family members of mine, and a lot of people who are just like concerned about like living expenses, right, and just life, and how life's going, and how things are just getting more expensive, and they're not making a lot more money, has a lot of people stressed out. You know, I'm in the same boat too. Like I said, I've been kind of stressed out a lot lately myself, because as you all know, I have the laptop issue, and I haven't been able to really solve the laptop issue, and getting a laptop replacement would be very expensive. And then on top of like the replacement, because everything's going on with like tariffs and stuff, like laptop prices have gone up too in price. So it's not like there's a lot of like headaches in regards to that. So, you know, I'm working with a laptop that sometimes when I turn it on, it takes like 20 to 30 minutes to get it actually start up, because it will refuse to boot itself up. I always suspected it's a BIOS issue, but I don't know how to flash like my computer, my BIOS on top of that, because my computer doesn't really turn on all the time. It's kind of difficult to get a BIOS flashed when it doesn't turn on. You know, so I need like an expert to do that, and I've taken it to a computer repair shop, and they didn't really do jack diddly squat for me. So like, it's a miracle that we're still even able to make content in this limited capacity that we've been able to. Another thing that's really kind of been just like partially stressing me out, not big time for stress, it's just like YouTube in general. Like the algorithm, man, it's just gotten so much weirder than it used to be like 4 years ago. Like, I've been doing YouTube for 4.5 years. It'll be 5 years in May 4th, excuse me. And in the time that I've done content here, you've seen we've done highs and we've done lows. You know, Diablo 3 I was really big on for a while. I ran out of guides that I could make, and I just kind of felt like taking a step back from Diablo, because I never really wanted to be a Diablo channel. I just wanted to really do like variety content, because I've always said variety is like the spice of life. And then like the other thing that I noticed with YouTube is YouTube for a while thought I was a React channel because of the movie watch-alongs that we did. And I've always said I don't mind doing a watch-along here and there, but I don't want to like rely on React content, because I've always felt like React content on the internet is some of the most lazy content that you could possibly do. And then on top of that, it's like borderline stealing in a way. I'm going to be playing some Pac-Man here, so I've done my best kind of like to try to veer away from that, but YouTube really just keeps recommending the movie watch-alongs. I have people that are going into comment section and be like, oh my god, this guy didn't actually show the full movie, or I thought the full movie was here. And then they'll say clickbait and stuff, and it's like, no, because, like, let's be honest, unless you're part of the, like, VTuber culture, and unless you're, like, really up on some of the stuff that VTubers do, particularly, like, in, I don't want to say idle space, because it's not idols that only do it, but, you know, just in VTuber space, about watch-alongs that, you know, people then don't understand, so they think you're, like, actually going to show the movie, and sometimes I honestly, oh my god, Mario, I forgot, he's so short, he dodges the stupid fire hydrant when I freaking forward smash it. Oh, this is gonna be difficult. I'm gonna be in for a tough time here. Dread Knight's almost certainly. I didn't think this through. If we beat Mario here, it would be a miracle. I don't know, man. But, yeah. You missed that one. But, yeah, so I have people always coming in for watch-alongs thinking I'm gonna show the actual movie. I'm like, no, you can't do that. And then they'll be like, oh, but other people do it in their Discord, and other people do it on, like, their YouTubes when they make it membership thing. And, okay, that's fine and all, but when you show stuff, you are stealing from creators. And me, who, you know, IRL day job, you could say, is film and television. Like, stealing movies, stealing shows, stealing content that other people make is a no-no, you know? That's not something that you do. It's just not cool. You know? So, that's why I don't do that type of thing. So, like, I always tell people, even though people who show movies in their Discord, I'm like, don't do that. Like, you're stealing from people. Oh, it doesn't hurt anybody. No, I guess it doesn't hurt anybody, I suppose. But you know what? There's some people who make royalties off of even, like, old movies. And, like, they'll be like, oh, well, these people are famous and they're actors. No, man. I knew an actor, God rest his soul, You know that a lot of his money in his later career came from the royalty checks. And not so much like his actual performances. So you gotta think about it like this way. If you're like streaming a really, really, really old movie to like your Discord members, in reality, you're, you know, probably screwing over an actor who barely is making a lot of money these days. And that's always been a sensitive subject, right? Because like people are like, oh, but it's not, you know, when you rent a movie, you're not just renting it, you're not owning it. Yeah. Well, I mean, there was Blu-rays back in the day. And people never bought Blu-rays. That's why I always kind of still buy Blu-rays, even though they're not very popular in this day and age. Because I've always been the type of person that I like to own physical media of stuff. I like to be able to say, like, pull off my shelf that, oh, yeah, I have the whole Superman live-action movie collection. Or, oh, yeah, I have the old Batman live-action collection. Or the newer Batman trilogy, you know, the Christopher Nolan one there. Or if I want to, like, pull off an old movie like Godzilla 54, I can pull it off my shelf. I understand people love, like, the age of streaming stuff, but I still, like, every once in a while, I like to just pull it in a DVD and just watch things traditionally. That's kind of how I like to roll. It's fun. I still have a Blu-ray player, even though my Blu-ray player I have to often. That was a good up smash. I'm surprised we caught him. The minute I saw him jump, I was like, yeah, let's just up smash here. Maybe we can catch him. All right, good job. Good job, good job, good job. Nice, nice, nice. I'm a little out of practice with that. It sucks that we weren't able to really do much with his fire hydrant move. If you hear noise in the background when the turtle is in heat, like I've mentioned before, if you're a regular in the channel, I have 2 red ear slider turtles. When it comes to around April, May, the woman goes into a lot of heat, and these turtles are not together. They're separated because when they weren't bought at the same time, right? So what happens is usually if you don't have the turtles at the same time introduced in the tank, one of them will become territorial because they think that the other one's invading their space. So the female will, like, it's on site whenever she sees the male. So you can't really introduce them together because they wouldn't really behave. And I'm always in fear that the female turtle being super big, because this is something that a lot of people I don't think even know. Female red ear slider turtles get like 2 to 4 times the size of males. The males are actually much, much tinier. So, like, they can really just, like, chop off the head of a male if they don't, like, want to deal with them. So, this is, like, the female's, like, significantly bigger. And I'm afraid for that dude. You know what? Like, I feel bad for him. He pounds on the glass with his mating claw, and he just, you know, wants to have a little bit of loving. Who doesn't want to have a little bit of loving in their life, right? I mean, everybody needs somebody, I suppose. Even turtles need somebody, but in this particular situation, I fear that she would just not have any of him and will just take him out. Uh-oh. I'm gonna get KO'd there, almost certainly. Oh, that was good. That was good, I can't even lie on that one. I have the Smash Balls on. I know it's not, like, actual super tournament thing, because, like, usually people turn off the Smash Balls, but I want to make things a little bit interesting. And since we're not, like, playing in a tournament, I'm not playing anything, like, super serial at the moment, gonna have, like, some fun just chilling here and chatting and playing some Smash Brothers and getting back into practice. Oh, that was a bad smash. I thought he was gonna jump up in the air like Mario did. Let's see. Okay, watch out. I'm gonna slip on a banana peel. That banana peel move is more annoying than I actually remember for Diddy Kong. Okay, I got him with the freaking fire hydrant. I gotta be careful about that. Why am I going against nothing but small characters? I can't actually get anybody with the fire hydrant because they're just able to dock easily. I need, like, a tall character. Why can't they give me a Cloud or an Ike or a Marth? Something, man. Just something. That banana peel's starting to get on my nerves. Alright. So, yeah, you know. That's why if you hear pounding in the glass. And has anybody really watched a movie by the name of Monkey? It's like Monkey is the name of it. It's, like, adapted based on a Stephen King short story. I'm thinking, not this week, because I'm too busy really with, oh, we got them with the fire hydrant there. I'm too busy with your personal stuff going on, and, like, this is WrestleMania weekend coming up. I've already talked about that before, that I will not be around for WrestleMania weekend, so there's not really much I can do about that. But what I wanted to talk about, though, was, like, after next week, when I get back, what I would like to do is I would like to maybe have a watch-along where we watch Monkey. I have to see if it's available on streaming services for people to watch, because I know it's available for rent, but it might be a very expensive movie that maybe not a lot of people really want to spend 20 hours to watch. I do definitely. I want to see it because I want to see how much they adapted it from the Stephen King's short film. I think it's like an hour and a half, so I'm just thinking maybe we'll do a movie watch along. We won with Pac-Man. Look at Diddy Kong just flapping his hands like that. That's such a fake happy clap if I've ever seen one in my day and age. You know, so like, I'm thinking maybe we'll try to fit in a movie watch along somehow. I don't make any promises, I don't make any guarantees, but I think Monkey could be a fun one because I haven't seen it yet. It is something personally I'm interested in. If you hear emergency services passing by, I've mentioned this also well. I live in New York City. It's a very noisy city. From time to time, emergency responders will pass through. I'm very close to a hospital, very close to a police department, very close to a fire department. We wish our emergency responders the very best in whatever emergency they're responding to, as well as, oh man, going against freaking Steve from Minecraft. Well, that's actually another thing too, isn't? Did anybody go see the Minecraft movie? I haven't seen it personally. I wasn't interested in seeing it, because, again, I'm not really big into Minecraft. I have, like, Minecraft on the Nintendo Switch. I've played Minecraft for about 100 hours on the Switch. I'm not good at building. I've actually never beat the end dragon. I don't think I've even seen the end. I've gone as far as the never. I just never could get in the game. I didn't have people to play that game with. I didn't really like building by myself, because it just... I'm more of a Legos guy. Like, if you had given me Lego Dimensions to play... That was a good forward smash on my part. Forward near. The exact there. I just, like... For me, never could get into Minecraft. Like... Because I'm very bad at building. And then, like... The times that I have built, like, really good houses and bases in Minecraft, I've had creepers. Like, I like the wooden log aesthetic, even though I know that's not, like, the best way to build. But I like log cabins, just in real life. That's like an aesthetic that I really like. I think there's something cool about having a cabin on the mountains or a cabin in the woods. Like, I've always wanted to have, like, a cabin in the woods or a mountain. That's, like, always been my... I know it sounds silly, but homeowner's dream to just have, like, a cabin. It just makes, like, something I would like to have and own. Unfortunately, I don't own a cabin in the woods or a cabin in the mountains. So, like, when I play Minecraft a little bit that I've played Minecraft, I usually will build my house and my base, like, out of wood. And what ends up happening usually is I will end up running into a creeper, and a creeper will somehow get into my house despite the fact that it's well lit, and will blow up my base, and then I just lose patience, and then I will just, like, stop playing the game and stop playing the world. Another thing that happened to me when I was very first starting playing Minecraft is somebody told me that I could sleep in the Nether. That's a very mean joke to play on people, by the way, Dread Knights. And if you don't know, you can't sleep in the Nether. What happens is when you sleep in the Nether, you literally explode and die. And when somebody told me I could do that, I was not aware that, you know, I'm playing survival, mind you, and I had, like, a lot of good gear on me. And I died, so I just was like, screw it, I'm not playing this again. And every so often, I will check out, like, a Minecraft update just to see if there's anything to do. But I just get bored, because I'm the type of person that likes games that are very fast and action-paced, right? So Minecraft is slow and boring, and it just isn't my cup of tea. Because I don't see personally the lure of going in there and building things. It's just not my thing. Maybe if you like architecture... Maybe if your desire always was to be like an architect, then I could see why you would want to play Minecraft. But for me, it's just like, I don't... And even the combat, like in Minecraft, I know there's some people who will say, oh, but I play PvP in Minecraft and stuff. I've seen PvP in Minecraft, and it's just... I don't know, it's... I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I'm just not from that generation that really can truly appreciate Minecraft. I've watched other people play Minecraft, and it even depends on the content creator too, right? Like, I'm not throwing shade to any content creators, but, like, there's some people who can make, like, even, like, building stuff in Minecraft very interesting, and they'll keep, like, the player engaged, and they'll, like, keep informing people, well, this is why I'm doing this, and this is why I'm doing that. And I like those type of Minecraft, like, type of streams, like, if I want to watch Minecraft, but if I'm watching something and it's just, like, I don't want to say dead air, but just, like, a lot of white noise where it's not really anything important going on. Like, it's just not my cup of tea. Like, I've also seen people do, like, Minecraft RPs for, like, their own personal servers and stuff. And that's, like, not my cup of tea either, because it just, like... Like, I know there was, like, for a while, I played GTA 5, right? I played a little bit of GTA 5 online as well, right? So, like, when the GTA online servers started popping up, like, I never got the allure of that, too. I guess, I don't know, maybe, you know, I even, as a VTuber, I've never been one to want to, like, RP as anything, because it's just not really my desire. Like I said, I grew up and I didn't even play Dungeons and Dragons. Even though I could tell this story, this is kind of funny. In elementary school, I knew a kid, right? Let's call him Ned, okay? For the sake of argument of this story. So Ned was kind of like a nerdy kid, right? He had all his clothes, and I don't know if his parents dressed him like this intentionally, but he always wanted to, he always had his clothes like high order. So his pants, like, the cuffs were really, really high up to his knees, that you could see his socks and his, like, Converse that he wore that were, like, these red Converse. And the other thing that I remember from Ned, I gotta be careful I don't use his real name, was Ned was, like, one of the smarter kids in the class. He was, kind of wanted to be valedictorian, but if I remember correctly, he wasn't valedictorian. It was another kid that actually beat him in it. Let's call him Brad for the sake of argument. But so he came in like third place. So he wanted to pretend he was like the smartest kid in the class, and in reality, he wasn't, right? And he had this personality about him that was very abrasive. He wasn't mean, but he was like arrogant, right? Because his parents came from, they were lawyers, right? So you know how sometimes people like will be like, oh, well, my parents are lawyers, so I'm better than you, or my parents are doctors, so I'm better than you. And Ned, for all intents and purposes, kind of had that negative vibe to him. And like, I remember, this is why I'm getting back to the Dungeons and Dragons thing, Ned decided, like, after a while to kind of do, like, a RPG, not real Dungeons and Dragons, but kind of like a budget version of Dungeons and Dragons to play in the schoolyard. And a couple of friends of mine decided, well, I don't even know how to consider them friends, they're classmates. I'll be honest with you, from everybody that I went to elementary school with, because this was elementary school, grade school, some would call it, I don't talk to any of them, because a lot of them weren't really friends, they were just, like, mean. I was one of those kids that was kind of, what's the best way to put it? I was kind of bullied a little bit. Not, like, physically bullied, but verbally bullied in elementary school. So, like, the thing about it was, like, I wasn't one of those kids, because I didn't live in the same area, because what happened was, my school that originally I was enrolled in my neighborhood closed down, and my mom had to enroll me in a school that was out of basically the zone. I didn't go to public school, I went to basically private school, for those of you who are wondering. So in the private school that I went to, the second one, I started in second grade there. And I was always kind of like the outsider, because I didn't live in the neighborhood, and I wasn't one of the people that started with them in kindergarten, right? So there was always kind of like that unspoken animosity and outsider treatment. On top of that, wasn't the tallest kid. I was actually the shortest kid in the class. You know, kids are mean, right? So they will try to pick you apart for every type of appearance. My hair, back then, was very puffy. Not like it is now. Because I had my hair as a certain hairstyle. And you know, so, like, kids will be mean, right? So, like, they were very, very mean, but, like, the people that I had classmates were, decided that they were going to partake in this not fake, but budget version of Dungeons and Dragons every day in the schoolyard. So what ended up happening was, the kid himself, we'll call him, again, Ned, like I was saying before, Ned decided that he, in particular, was gonna, like, be super mean to me. Like, I joined this RPG, and any time that he could find a way to, like, get me out of the group or to kill off my character, he would do so, right? Just to be kind of mean. So at one point, I decided to kind of do my own take on it, you know, just to kind of see how things would go. And what ended up happening was I got notorious for having my, like, pen and paper RPGs be, like, way too hard. Like, I would, like, make it so that people would kind of get punished. I think in a way I was kind of, like, punishing some of the people that were being mean to me in there. But people had a lot of fun when I did it. When Ned did it, people really didn't have as much fun. So it was kind of funny how I kind of, in a way, ended up being a better dungeon master than Ned was. It's kind of funny because years later, obviously, I graduated from there. I went to a different high school, and then I had a completely different experience in high school. Like, there was one or two people that were still a dick to me, but I actually had, like, cool, mostly cool, not all cool, because I don't really speak to anybody that I went to high school with either. Because I just, like, some of those connections didn't really feel like real connections to me personally. And, like, you know, friends, as they get older, they have differences of opinions and different lifestyles that don't really fit or meet the needs, I suppose, of friendships, which happens. It's sad, but that's part of life. But in high school, I was kind of fortunate because I got into high school in freshman year, and I was smart, right? So I made friends with all the seniors, and I made friends with all the juniors. So from the beginning of high school, I made friends with all the seniors, and nobody picked on me because I was really into video games. And back then, like, video games, people were starting to come around with video games and were like, doing cool stuff with it. Like, not cool stuff, but they were starting to, like, being more accepting of it. So, like, because I was cool at video games and I was pretty good at video games, like, a lot of the seniors had a lot of, like, I got their respect for that. So that's why. I was into, like, a lot of stuff that seniors were into, you know. I was very mature for my age. Unfortunately, like, I kind of had to, I want to say, grow up a lot quicker, because that's not exactly the thing, but I had to mature a lot quicker than some of our people my age, so I guess that made me more at the age of 13, or when did I go to high school, 12 or 13? I started high school when I was 12, I think, actually. I think it was 12 or 13, I actually don't remember. I might have been an early thing, because I was younger, yeah, because of my birthday. So, yeah, because I graduated when I was 17? Yeah. Okay, so, so I would have been starting high school, like, at the cusp of 12 or 13, something like that. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I made friends with all the seniors, and nobody picked on me. I had, like, one or two people that were kind of assholes, but, like, these people I knew were never going to really do much with their lives, and were probably ever going to get expelled, so I didn't really invest any negative energy into these type of peoples. Like, I would just kind of ignore them and go about my business. So that, like, I had a lot of people that were cool in high school, but that's besides the point. So years later, I'm on Facebook, right? And all the people that were not very cool to me and nice to me in elementary school, grade school, whatever you want to call it, started to hit me up on Facebook. This was back when Facebook, you still could, like, actually use it for school networking. And I remember Ned one time tried to friend request me, and I checked out Ned's actual Facebook page, and I noticed that, you know how they say karma is kind of a bitch, right? So what ended up happening was with Ned kind of went off the deep end and kind of went a little cuckoo, and I kind of always felt like even in school he was a little bit off, a little bit, what's the word that I'm looking for? Mentally unstable. And there's nothing wrong with being mentally unstable. Everybody has their kind of hang-ups. Everybody has their issues, you know, but Ned didn't look like he went into therapy or took medication for it, and maybe some of the stuff in his childhood didn't, kind of affected him as an adult, right? So I did not accept Ned's friend request because I honestly would have feared for my life, to be honest with you. Then I had another person, let's call him Tom, right? I'm trying to think of names that are so far off from what these kids' names actually would have been, right? So Tom was kind of like Ned too. He was like a socially awkward kid, but he thought he was better than everybody, because he was pretty smart, despite the fact that I had better grades than him. I never really ever flaunted grades. Like, I graduated college with honors in my degree that I have. Like, I got it with honors, right? I was, like, On my way out of college, they actually offered me a scholarship. And I turned it down for the last semester because I didn't want that type of pressure on me. So I'm actually really, really smart, believe it or not, even though for some reason I decided to become a VTuber on the internet. And we all see how that's gone for me lately. I'm just kidding when I make that joke, but yeah, I'm actually way, way smarter than I give myself sometimes credit for, or what you might see here on the internet, or even when I make typos on Twitter, because you know what, there's no edit button. I'm terrible on typing on a phone, in case you don't know it. So whenever I make like a tweet and it's a typo or something's missing, it's because I'm not typing it on the computer and I'm typing on my phone, and I'm terrible at typing on the phone. I've never been good at typing on the phone because I'm not really a big cell phone person, believe it or not. Like, I have a phone, but I don't really use it. Like, I have it for emergency uses, and like if somebody like needs to call me for like client work or something, or family. That's the only reason I have my cell phone. Other than that, I probably would be one of these people that would like not have a cell phone and would be completely off the grid, because I just don't really care so much for that type of thing. So that's why, though, I typo a lot on Twitter, because I'm like on the phone and my fingers are pretty big thumbs, I guess, from gaming and stuff, and they're kind of cumbersome. So like I'll go to hit things, and because I'm in a rush to post things, because my time is very limited, sometimes I don't even proofread to see if I didn't, and I just click send, and that's why that type of stuff happens. But so with Tom was an arrogant kid, right? And then he got a scholarship, ironically, to the high school that I went to, along with another kid. Let's call him Dan, right? So Dan and Tom went to the same school that I went to in high school. They were part of the honor society, and they kind of let it go to their head, so they were like very arrogant, and they treated like everybody else who was or wasn't in it, kind of. I remember, like, I was in advanced placement classes in high school, so I took like at certain advanced placement classes, and I remember actually, before I get into that, let's talk about Ned. Not Ned, what was his name again? Tom. So Tom on Facebook, after he was like very mean to me in both high school and also very mean to me in elementary school, decided to hit me up on Facebook one day to like actually connect as an adult. And because of how mean he was and some of the dumb shit and mean shit that he told me over the years, like when he sent me the Facebook friend request, I sent a message and I literally just plain out said, "Go fuck yourself." Like, this is something about me that a lot of people probably don't know, but like I give everybody a second chance. Usually I'll even give somebody a third chance, sometimes sparingly. But if you were really, really, really mean to me while I was growing up, or you were really, really, really mean to me on the internet, and then you try to reconcile, I probably will tell you, go fuck yourself. Just because, like, online sometimes feels like an extension of elementary school to me, particularly, like, in the VTuber space. So, like, when it brings up negative sentiments, like, from the past, and people have that type of energy, that's when I just kind of go, like, no. I'm not that way with everybody, keep that in mind. It's only you'd have to really, 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 like, it takes a lot to get on my bad side. Like, a lot. You would have to be saying mean shit to me, like, 24/7. But yeah, in that case, I told him go fuck himself in Facebook and blocked him. I never had anybody. But here's another fun story about stuff that I experienced growing up. This is a kind of why also, like, I'm so thankful that, like, after high school, because remember, these were people that I went to elementary school with. They were just happy to go to the same one, and I had nothing that I could do about that. But like with what's their name, Tom and Dan, they're part of the honor society. And I remember in my senior year, I was not part of the advanced placement class for English in junior year, because sophomore year my English teacher accused me of handing my paper that I did to another student. And to this day, I will tell you 100% that I did not give my paper to the other student. Whatever the other student said to tell that person that was bullshit. So my English teacher in sophomore year had it out for me, because I refused to accept the accusations, and I said, you know what, just give me an F on the paper, because I'm not going to admit to something that I didn't do. And since I didn't go with that and stuff, he always held the grudge against me. So in sophomore year, even though I had the grades for it, they didn't put me in advanced placement English. So in junior year, I had a English teacher who, again, was confused why I wasn't in advanced placement English, because clearly I was more advanced at that particular stage for that stuff than some of the people that were in the class I was in. And I remember telling that teacher, I was like, well, you have to ask this teacher, because this teacher clearly has a grudge against me and doesn't like me. You know what? Like, I don't want to even play the race card, but the teacher in particular was, ooh, low battery. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully that won't affect our stream, because I don't have an extra pair of Joy-Cons, and I have, like, a controller that I could use that's a Pro Controller, but it's, like, drifting down where I think it gets stuck in the down position, which wouldn't really necessarily be good for Smash. We'll keep it on. I think it should last the 2 hours, these Joy-Cons, though. Okay, there we go. Got him with Will Mac, who jumped right into that. So, in junior year, I told the teacher, I was like, yeah, you know what, you should ask the art teacher, because they just don't like me as a human being. And the teacher was pretty shocked by that. But that's honestly how I felt, because, like, he held the grudge because I refused. I'd rather take the F than admit that I cheated when I didn't cheat. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I said, give me the F. I'm not going to admit to that. And I took the F for the paper. And he held the grudge because I refused to back down. But yeah. So, what ended up happening, like I was going to say, I feel like it was, I don't want to call it a race issue, but, like, I'm white and Hispanic. My last name is a Hispanic name, right? So, the teacher was clearly white, and he came from white privilege, so I don't want to say it was a race thing, but I feel like because I was half, you know, I was white Hispanic, there was an issue with him. And what ended up happening, I've always felt like he had something out against Hispanics, which is kind of crazy, because, like, a lot of people that went to that private high school were Hispanic people. But you know what? It's whatever. It's whatever. That's besides the point. But I do think it was a racist. Well, I do truly think it was a racist, particularly against Hispanics. And I noticed that the person that he accused, the art person that stole my paper, when we could have just had the same thought, because, like, a lot of people on the internet, when they watch movies and stuff, will have the same thought about something. Crazy concept, right? That two people reading the same fucking book could probably have the same concept, which I did tell them bluntly back then. But, like, the student was black too, so, like, always when it was a white student, he would, like, have preferences to them, but whenever it was a black or Hispanic student, he wouldn't. That's why I always felt like the teacher, I can't say his name, obviously, was, like, racist. And it was kind of crazy, in particular the high school I went to. So moving on with the story, right? So what ended up happening was the teacher, in my senior year, I wasn't, again, in the advanced placement because they couldn't get me into advanced placement English. So I was in the regular English class, right? And in the regular English class, the professor very early on, he was a professor, actually. Like, he taught at my high school, but he was also a professor at Princeton. Like, he came from an Ivy League thing, and he taught, like, classes. He drove from my high school to teach at Princeton, like, every freaking day, which was freaking crazy, man. I think it was Princeton. Was it Princeton? Or was it her? No, it was Princeton. It was Princeton, I think. I have to double check, but I think it was Princeton, if I recall correctly. But it was an Ivy League. It was an Ivy League that you could drive from New York to get to. That's the only thing I want to say. And that professor, since he was actually a professor, not a regular teacher, noticed very early on that my writing and my thoughts and everything of the sort were way too advanced for that class. And he realized, like, everything that he threw at me that was supposed to be that curriculum was just too easy for me. Like, I was getting easy hundreds in that class all the time. It was just way too easy, and by that point in my life, I had already done writing for websites already. Like, I was writing for the otaku.com back then. Like, I was in high school, I'm writing for a freaking anime website that's actually was like a .com website. So my writing had become very advanced at that point. So what ended up happening was, at the end of the school year, there was the advanced placement class was going to go see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Gary Sinise being in the play. And the professor was so impressed with my work that he invited me to the advanced placement trip. It was the trip. the graduation trip for them. And I remember when I went, I had so many evil eyes on me, including from Tom and Ned, that were mumbling under their breath, as well as a lot of people. What the hell is he doing here? He doesn't belong here. And the professor, again, stood up for me and said that this student should have always been with these guys, and you should have tried to teach him, show him the same type of respect, because he's, for all intents and purposes, one of you. And I never forget that. I think it's okay to dox him in this situation because he was such a good guy. So I don't know if he's still alive because he was pretty old back then. But Mr. Wood, if you, that was actually his thing. Mr. Wood, if you ever happen to come across this, thank you so much for believing in me the way that not a lot of our English professors believed in me during high school. Because that went on to really trust my writing and a lot of stuff that I did. And without you know, that type of support in high schoolers' development, you know, it could go very sideways, right? So, thank you. Hopefully, if you are still among us. But yeah, so, you know, so it was kind of funny because, like, I was so glad that I didn't have even classes with Ned, or not Ned, excuse me, Tom and Dan, because they were just, like, really uppity people. And ironically, again, that's kind of the major reason why when they tried to connect with me on Facebook years later, after I, like, already had graduated college and shit, I was like, no, I didn't talk to them, I didn't add anybody, because, like, I've always been a person, I surround myself with people that give me, like, good, positive energy. If you're not one of those type of people, and you're not surrounding yourself with positive energy around me, I don't want to be around you, because it's just going to kind of drag me down. And I have enough stress in my life to have to, like, deal with shit like that, to be honest with you, Dread Knights. So, yeah. In college, I kind of was, like, crazy. Not actually crazy, but in college was a little bit different experience, because I went to college, I went to Hunter College. I also went to a different college I want to name. And that's how I got, like, my film degree. And I went to 2 different colleges, alright? So, when I went to Hunter College, a lot of people in Hunter College were, I don't know, like, I got accepted into Hunter, and Hunter's, like, considered one of the more prestigious CUNY schools. And I ended up at Hunter. I went to Hunter for only a semester, actually, because I really didn't care for it. And there was, like, a situation, like, where I couldn't get the classes that I wanted to, so I had, like, deferred my admissions for a year because I couldn't get the classes that I needed to, like, actually pursue one of the degrees I was pursuing. And so I went to Hunter, and then I switched to a different college. But the year that I went to Hunter, it was an interesting experience because a lot of the people there were kind of uppity, and they weren't very social. So it's kind of crazy, like, when you go from high school, where I had, like, a lot of social people, to then, like, this very prestigious CUNY school, where a lot of our people just weren't like that, and they were just kind of like, oh, well, I'm just better than you. I don't know, again, if it's a race thing, because I know that, you know, racism, stereotypes, it exists in the world. It's an unfortunate part of life, but it is part of life. But what ended up happening is I left Hunter College. I went to a different college after deferring for a while. Took some time off. And I was still working websites then. So I went to a different college, and I kind of realized that in that college, even though it wasn't as prestigious of a college, like, the vibe was a little bit different. Like, I didn't get along with everybody there, and a lot of people, like, from the bracket that I was in were, like, a different age bracket. So I was like, I'll tell the story, because it's kind of a funny story. So for that degree that I pursued, which is the film and television degree that I have concurrently, what ended up happening was the first day of school for, like, film class, I will never forget that I had, like, my laptop in a very fancy bag. Like, I had carried my laptop in a very, like, I want to say it's a designer one, but it's kind of actually like a designer one that you get, one of the more expensive ones that you get at Staples. And so I have the laptop in my bag, and I have my, like, carried my school books in the bag, because I figure I just use my laptop bag as also my briefcase, so I'm not walking around with a book bag, because it'd be just too much shit to carry, right? So I go to, like, take out my books and I put it down, this is probably my own mistake, on the professor's desk. And then, a student walks up to me and is like, it's a female student, right? And they're like, "Hi, professor, how are you doing today? I'm so looking forward to meeting you." And I'm kind of mortified because, like, they're younger students than me, right? And I'm like, man, I don't look that old, do I? And I have to, like, turn to her and I look at her. I'm, like, so perplexed. I'm like, I'm not the professor. I'm actually a student. And we had a good laugh about it afterwards, but it was kind of... My college experience was kind of weird because since I had taken some time off and then went back, like, I was the older person, really, in a lot of my classes. So I had, like, a lot of young people who were, like, fresh out of college. And what ended up happening, like, it was hard to relate to them because it was such a different age bracket. But, on the good side, it did actually prepare me for streaming because I'm used to, like, interacting with people now who aren't necessarily my age bracket, just because, like, you know, I'm able to, I guess, connect with people and tell, like, random fun stories, but, like, so my high school was kind of weird, too, because, like, there's a lot of people that sometimes would want me to hang out with them and, like, go to, like, bars with them and stuff, and I always kind of felt weird going to I went one time with them, like, right after graduation, I took them to my friend's bar. Well, he was one of my best friends, Will, because he was a bartender. I took him to my friend's bar to have, like, a drink there, and they hung out there, and they kind of chilled with them. That was, like, the only time I hung out with them, and I stayed, like, they were going to switch bars. I wanted me to bar hop with them. I stayed just hanging out at the bar with my friend, just because, like, they were younger, and, like, the vibe was just, like, so different back then, and, like, we weren't really into the same stuff in school. Like, I'm a fan of video games, I'm a fan of anime, I'm a fan of, like, musicals. A lot of people don't realize that because I don't talk a lot about musicals. I'm a fan of theater, because obviously film television degree background, and, you know, dated for a while somebody who was an off-Broadway actress. Or off-Broadway actress, I should say. So, you know, those are, like, the people I vibe with. And a lot of people, like, I went to school with weren't part of, like, the theater department, or they weren't part of the film and television department. So they're like, I had the general classes with them because, you know, you have to take obviously general classes in college. Not as bad as, like, high school, but there are some core requirements. So I had, like, English class with some of them. I had math class with some of them. And the ones I hung out with, though, were from my film degree, but they were taking film, but they weren't serious into film. Like, that wasn't going to be their career path that they wanted to take. So that's why we didn't really necessarily vibe, because they weren't really passionate about film. Like, actually, the vast majority, only one person I know that I went to that degree program with, actually is still working in film television. Everybody else never pursued it. They went on to do different things. But, like, the vibes was very, very different, even in college. Like I enjoy my high school years, despite, you know, having one or two people that I went to grade school with, but I wasn't always exposed to them. So I enjoyed high school because I made a lot of friends in high school, but then, like, you know, you get older, your interests change, life happens, you fall out of contact, or you just don't have the same interest, and you're just not relatable, or, you know, people change, right? I changed, definitely, from the way I was in high school, to a certain degree. So, what ended, you know, like, in college was really interesting, because it was like, people were sociable, but I don't want to say they were fake nice, but I feel like it was kind of like fake niceness, where people were like, again, as I just told earlier in the stream, we were just coming in, I, in college, had perfect hundreds in every class. I had 4.0 GPA all the way through college when I went. Perfect. Perfect. That they offered me a scholarship. I was perfect. I was the best student in all the classes, and some people in college took advantage of that because we had, like, studio projects, and I remember there was a time towards the final where none of them really cared for it because they were like, oh, well, I just want to get the, you know, the passing grade. I don't care if we get a 70 or not. It was me and another guy that were, like, taking shit seriously because we liked to film and liked to do stuff. And we basically did we set up the whole final project. We did a whole final project between me and him. We spent hours in the school studio setting it up ahead of time, so all they had to do was come and act in it and take their camera positions that were already set up. And they got an easy A+. Yeah, that's a cool spike that I did. So yeah, I'm still pretty good at Smash. I'm still really, really good at Smash. People underestimate how good I am in this. Still, I could probably record quite a bit of people. Maybe in the future we'll play with some viewers. So, in college, like, it's just kind of really different because people were really fake nice and they wanted something from you. There was only like this one. Well, there was two people, right? There's this one person that I met that wasn't part of the film degree that she kind of had a crush on me, I suppose. And here's the thing about me. This is like for all the ladies that ever try to deal with me. I am completely oblivious to flirting. Oh man, that controller over area. Hopefully it lasts forever. I am completely oblivious to flirting. I am completely oblivious to signals. If you don't tell me you like me, I probably won't realize this. But I had a girl that I had, was it statistics class with? No, speech class with. Speech class with. She was really, really nice. She was actually really pretty too. And she used to sit by me all the time because like there was a long pause between speech and stuff, like a long pause between speech class and like the time. So she would used to come early from work and she would used to talk to me for quite a while, right? And I remember at the time she had a boyfriend, so like I was like, okay, I'm safe. It's not gonna be I'm not gonna be no homewrecker. That's not Dread. Dread doesn't do shit like that. And it's funny because like I bumped into her like 2 or 3 semesters afterwards, and she gave me her phone number and she was like, oh, I broke up with my boyfriend. It didn't work out. She's like, yeah, you should call me sometime. We should hang out sometime. And guess what? I didn't realize that that was her probably hitting on me. And probably telling me, hey, I kind of like you. Which is kind of funny because she knew I was like into like video games heavily, but she was kind of a gamer herself. And I didn't take the hint. And I was so like worried with grades and stress because like I was doing still journalism work, right, at the time, while also balancing being a full-time college student. Like there's some people who do part-time and balance like the stuff that they're doing in journalism. No, I was going full-time and doing that. I didn't sleep for quite a lot. Like I even had a 6 a.m. fucking biology class I had to take because it was a core requirement. And like I didn't sleep. I was stressed. I was working on the website and handling that shit, and then I was doing oh crap, like I was doing content creation on the first channel that I don't really talk about here on the side during that, and I was also doing like my college work and college papers and college projects, and oh my god, it was such a stressful time. So the last thing I was thinking about was like relationships then, because I was just like wanting to be the best student and maintain my 4.0. Because, you know, that's kind of, doing well is kind of important to me. I'm a Virgo. I've talked about this before, I think, here. I'm a perfectionist. We seek perfection. We hold ourselves probably to a higher standard than even some other people will. So, like, I have to be perfect. I have to have things done as best as possible, because if not, I feel disappointed with myself and, like, that I didn't do my best. So, yeah. But I didn't pick up on the fact that she gave me her phone number because she wanted me to call her and wanted to hang out with me. And guess what? I never called her because I was so focused on other things. I never called her. I hit her up. Not intentionally hit her up. Keep that in mind. I wasn't being like a slime dog or anything. So, just because I did have some people on my Facebook that I went to college with, and I did hit her up just because, like, wanted to see how she was doing and stuff. And she ended up marrying someone and becoming like a teacher. And now she like teaches, I think it's either kindergarten or 2nd grade as a music teacher, which I thought was really cool. So who knows? I could have been married to a music teacher. That was very nice, but I forgot to call her. So moral of the story is, if you really like somebody, I mean, I didn't know how I felt about her, but if somebody likes you and gives you an opportunity, you should probably run with it, because you never know if you'll ever get another opportunity or you'll miss out on somebody that was really cool. Words to live by. You know what? But yeah, there was her. There was another girl that was in my film class that I kind of liked because she was... I don't know, I might out myself. I kind of like the hipster chick vibe, you know, the hipster aesthetic. So, like, you know, the black framed glasses, and if you wear like Ghostbusters vintage shirts and stuff, I really, really like that vibe because I vibe with people like that, right? So there was this girl that I kind of liked, and sometimes she would give me a signal like she wanted to talk to me, and sometimes she wouldn't, right? And I just really didn't feel like the moment was right or was appropriate because it was somebody that I had classes with. And the thing about me is, if I have classes with you, or if I'm working with you, there's that saying, you don't shit where you eat. So, like, I don't go for it, right? So I waited till, like, the semester to be over to give her my phone number. And I was like, hey, call me sometime, we should hang out. And she was like, hey, yeah, I'll give you my number. And I text her, and she never texts me back. I guess maybe I waited too long. Like, she used to talk a lot to me, but then, you know, I just, like, halfway into the semester, I got busy. There was projects and stuff, and we never really talked. We were in the same film department and stuff, it just never happened, and I think she got upset with me because I just waited too long to actually, like, pop the question. But that's the thing a lot of people don't know about me too personally, is I'm shy. Even though I'm very extroverted, I'm still in situations like that very, very shy. So if I like somebody, it takes a while for me to, like, warm up to them. And if I like somebody, I try to drop, like, very subtle hints, small things to kind of show my interest. But I'm not the type of person that likes to chase after women. Even though, like, I know women prefer to have, like, an alpha male and stuff. Like, I'm more of, like, I guess, a sigma in that retrospect. You know, and the thing about it is, like, I don't know, like, I feel like if you like people, like, if two people like each other, they should put in an equal amount of effort. It's like, if you have to, like, super chase after something, and it becomes, like, really difficult, and there's a lot of hurdles. I know they say, like, love can conquer all and everything, but it becomes at some point where if, like, there's too much of a hurdle just to, like, really talk to a person, or just to, like, really figure out what's going on in a relationship or emotions or a friendship and stuff, then that might be, like, a red flag in my personal opinion, because it should be kind of easy. If two people like each other, they should just say they like each other. If two people want to, like, hang out with each other, they want to see if there's something there, they should just kind of go for it. I guess the theme I'm trying to tell people is, like, if you want something, if you love somebody, if you care about somebody, if you like somebody, just ask them out, right? Just tell them. Just say it. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've picked up on people that had feelings for me, but because of how shy I am, like, just waiting for them to say something so I could be like, oh, I like you actually a lot too. And it never happens, and they miss their opportunity because I'm just the type of person where if you don't go for it with me, I'm probably not going to go for it, because, you know, we live in an age where it's hard sometimes, like, being a guy. I don't mean it, like, in a chauvinistic way, right? But, like, if you like somebody and you try to talk to them in this day and age, sometimes they think that automatically you're, like, hitting on them or you want to sleep with them. Or, like, sometimes if you, like, try to be helpful in something, they'll think, like, you're being a slime ball. I don't know how to really word this. Like, it's hard on guys, right? Because, like, you can, like, if you just want to, like, get to know somebody and you try to get to know somebody, they might take it the wrong way. You think that, like, you're only interested in one thing. Or, you know, and it's hard too, right? Because, like, God forbid you, like, just say hello to somebody in this day and age. There's always a possibility that you're gonna get labeled as a creep because you decided to say hello, or you decided to, like, say something nice. And I don't know why in this day and age it got like that, you know? So it's like, I'm very cautious about interactions that I have with the opposite sex too, because I'm always kind of, like, worried that if I even say hello or I share opinion, somebody might take it the wrong way. Or if it's like I like somebody, maybe, I don't know, they're not gonna reciprocate. Not reciprocate, I guess isn't the right word. They might not be super receptive to. I don't know what I'm getting at. I'm shy, basically, is what I'm saying. So like a lot of people that if they're interested in something, they have to be super patient with me. It's like I don't want to say you have to hold my hand and guide me through the whole thing, but you definitely have to give me like a very clear, blunt signal. Because if you don't give me a very blunt hint, then I was trying to spike them there. I would have been almost perfect there. And I won't, like, I don't know. I just don't. And I'm probably not going to go for it because I don't think it's okay to go for it, I guess is what I'm getting at. Yeah, I mean, human relationships, love, courtship, all that shit, that's complicated, man. Like, video games are easy. Relationships, courtships, that shit's difficult, man. Alright. With that being said, let's get off the tangent of stuff. Because, like, I had... I could tell another story that's funny that kind of shows you how shy I am. There was a girl, also, that was in mass... Was it mass communication? Yeah. It was, mass communications was a class I had to take. Because you need to learn interpersonal communication skills to really be in the film and television industry. So they had us take, like, mass media and communication to be able to understand how to work with people, talk to people, interact with people on a business end, and be able to read things, right? And be able to, like, talk to them and stuff. So I had this girl. She was from in our country, actually, right? And she, actually went to Columbia afterwards, too. Because, like, she was just there at that school for a while, and then she transferred out. To Columbia. And she was, like, really, really, really nice to me, too. And she was, like, one of the few people that actually appreciated my intelligence. Like, because she was a foreign person, right? They had, like, a better understanding of, like, art and literature and music. And that's the thing that, like, it's crazy, but, like, you wouldn't believe it, Dread Knights, but, like, most of the people that I really vibe with tend to be, like, people from a different country because they have a different perspective on the world. They have a different appreciation for the arts. They have a different appreciation for music, for film, because it's a different worldview, right? And they have brought differently, right, than American culture. I'm not saying American culture is bad. Obviously, I'm American. But she was really, really cool because she was very, very intelligent. To get into Columbia, you have to be, right? And on top of that, she was very, very smart. And I've had a lot of conversations with her back then. And she was cool. I felt like she had a crush on me. Actually, I never picked up on it. And then she ended up getting with somebody. So that was another situation of dread missed opportunity there. That probably wouldn't have worked out too because she ended up moving away anyway. But, you know, there was that. And it was kind of crazy because there were a lot of people that had crushes on me in college. And I just was always fixated on, like, studying and doing best in grades that I never really went for that stuff. And now it's kind of, I don't want to say it's the same thing, but, like, with content creation and other work that I do, it's kind of a thing where I'm always focused on trying to do the best job that I can here. That I just don't really, I don't pick up on things. And then I feel like when I pick up on things, I might pick up on things a little too late and miss opportunities. Like, there was something recently that I felt like that way about. I hope that's not the case, but, you know, it's... I don't know, you know? It's life sometimes. What are you gonna do about it? I guess you dust your shoulders off and move on. If it's to be, it would be, and if it's not to be, I guess it's not to be, right? This stage is always used in Smash Brothers quite a bit. Like, quite a lot in Smash Brothers. Like, people really like it. Hollow Bastion is a really great game. You know, Kingdom Hearts? This is gonna be my hot take on Kingdom Hearts, right? I felt like Kingdom Hearts should have ended at Kingdom Hearts 2, right? That was not gonna hit. All that did for me was give me a little bit of recovery. So Kingdom Hearts, I felt like it should have ended at Kingdom Hearts 2. I don't think we should have had a Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't think we should have had a Kingdom Hearts 4 that's coming. I felt like the ending to Kingdom Hearts 2 is perfect. Sora was able to reunite with Riku. Sora was able to reunite with Kari. He was able to keep his promise to her. He was able to keep his promise to Riku. We had taken care of Xenoheart to our knowledge. We had taken care of everybody. It looked like the Organization 13 had been completely dealt with. It looked like everything had been perfectly concluded and the worlds had been brought back together. Why the hell do we need a Kingdom Hearts 3 then or a Kingdom Hearts 4? There's some games that really don't ever truly need a sequel. Or another sequel, right? Kingdom Hearts 2 really felt like it should have been the very final Kingdom Hearts game. And here's the thing about Kingdom Hearts 2. Here we go, back to my Aerith trauma from Final Fantasy VII. Oh man, look at that. I was a pro gamer there. I hit perfectly with the tail there. And then for the throw for KO. I feel like Aerith is the only one that got a good, happy ending in the Kingdom Hearts universe. Why is it Aerith only got a good, happy ending there? Where they even kind of imply that Clarif is actually canon in Kingdom Hearts, because Tifa kind of shows that she cares about him, but like, who really gets out to soften up is Aerith and all those things. But I'm not gonna get into the Aerith versus Tifa debate. I'm a Clarif ship. I do appreciate Tifa for who she is. I do appreciate Aerith. I just felt like Aerith's relationship with Cloud, if you want to call it, dynamic with Cloud, was more authentic all the way through. And keep in mind, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, even with the remakes, depending on who you interact with the most, depending on who you take to certain things, will really greatly determine who, really the cutscenes, right? And how the interactions happen. You kind of shape the story based on what paths you take, what interactions you have, what interactions you don't have. So for me, the way I played the game, I spent a lot more time with Aerith than I did really with Tifa, despite Tifa always being in the party with Aerith. I always felt like when it came to Cloud and Aerith's relationship that they were having, their friendship, their dynamic, the romance that was kind of blooming between them, everything felt like very natural and like they were meant to be together. They felt like they were each other's twin flames in a sense. Like they were able to finish each other's thoughts. They knew what everybody else was thinking. And here's another thing, right? Like when Aerith goes off to the ruins of the Ancient, right? When she goes off to the Ancients to go deal with Sephiroth by herself, she's doing that because she doesn't want to see Cloud go through any more pain or through any more trauma. And she's worried and wants to protect Cloud and as well as the world, so she goes off on her own. I was always heartbroken by that because I felt like maybe if Aerith had stayed, she would have never died. But because of her love for Cloud, she was willing to give up her life to protect him. And that always kind of broke my heart, right? Like, I will say this to the day I die. The greatest video game trauma that I ever experienced in my life was watching Aerith die in Final Fantasy VII, the original one. And I never got over that. Because Aerith was like one of the nicest, most pure, kindest individuals. She was like everything a human being, everything a girl really should strive to be in this world. At least in my opinion. Like, Aerith was the perfect woman, I guess you could say. Like, I've always strived to find a perfect woman like Aerith, somebody that has the same type of vibe as Aerith. Somebody who's kind, uplifting, even when things got difficult, always managed to maintain a smile. Because there's just something very endearing about that type of personality in a person. I'm not very good at Peach. I want to get better at Peach, but Peach is very difficult too. I also have a drifting Joy-Con. I'm not doing Copion here, I guarantee you. Not doing Copion whatsoever, Dread Knights. I'm just trying to just smash here. I'm trying to do well with Peach. Yeah, but you know what? With Aerith, I always felt sad. I'm like, even in the remake, I don't care for the way that Rebirth handles the Aerith death, because it just felt like there were certain aspects of it that were done not poorly, but could have been done better, like how it was in the original. But again, that's also determined based on how you do your... what's your romance level with Aerith too, right? Because depending on the romance level, the ending with Aerith, is going to be a lot more differently, a lot more loving. Like, even in the Rebirth, like, how she dies still tears me up a lot. And just like the final cutscene in Rebirth 2, I hope I'm not spoiling this for people. If you are planning to play the game, maybe cover your ears. But like, I think there's something very powerful about Aerith's spirit staying behind on the ground, and then Cloud's like, are you going to be home? And what if are you going to be okay? And she's like, goes back to like the first time when Cloud, basically, when she walked Cloud to escape from sector, which one was it, 5, if I remember correctly? And she says, well, what if I'm not? What would you do then? and they have that conversation at the end of the cutscene. And it kind of breaks my heart because, you know, at that point, Cloud can't go after her to help her. And then I feel like it's just super, super sad. Like, he gets in the plane, and the high wind flies off, and she stays behind because that's her soul staying behind to be able to, like, help White Materia be able to create the pair to stop stuff. I don't want to say because there are probably people who have never finished Final Fantasy VII, the original one, that don't know the story. But she stays behind to kind of help do her part to stop Sephiroth within the life stream. And that always kind of like bars the rebirth cutscene at the end is kind of sad because having her stay behind and the quote that it says at the end is just so powerful. Like, I know that there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna be like, oh well, her death has to stay a death because that's how it is in the original. But they've taken so many deviations away. And here's the thing, like, whoever says like people wanted Aerith to die in the original Final Fantasy VII game are full of shit. They are full of shit. Everybody and their mother who played the original Final Fantasy VII when it got released tried to find everything possible to see if there was a way to bring Aerith back to life, to see if there was something they could do, a different interaction they could have, a different route, something they could skip to keep Aerith alive so she wouldn't die at Sephiroth's hands. Nobody back in the day wanted to see Aerith stay dead. Whoever says that never played the original Final Fantasy VII, and they're talking out of their ass. So for me, I truly hope, like, when we do get eventually to the final installment of Final Fantasy VII Remake, whatever it is, I'm assuming the last game is going to be the one coming out eventually. I think it's going to take 5 years. Hopefully it doesn't. But I'd really like to see them finish the story a lot sooner. I really hope whatever they do, they're able to recon Aerith's death somehow, because they're already introduced the Whispers, which means there's different universes and stuff, so maybe there could be a universe where Aerith comes back to life, even though that would kind of cheapen Tifa's thing, right? And the relationship, and people who want, what's it called again? Clotey? Yeah, Clotey ships would probably be very upset if then they actually kind of make canon Clarif romance actually the one. But I would like to see something where they undo Aerith's death in the remake. I feel like they've taken so many deviations from the original source material that one more deviation that would make fans of the old game happy, that would make fans of, like, the new age, just playing it for the first time happy, would be kind of nice. Like, do we really need to kill Aerith again? If she could stay alive in Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 1, she could stay alive in Final Fantasy remakes, right? Maybe I'm coping, but I don't feel like it has to be exact, and it's not. So far, those games have not been a game-for-game representation of the originals. They've taken a lot of creative licenses and have done things dramatically different. So what's not to change one of the things that a lot of players have always wanted to? Why not change fate, right? I mean, they could, even if they wanted to. No, they could if they wanted to, right? Even recon it where they find a way to bring back Aerith and Zack, and then those two could stay in love, and Cloud and Tifa can still be a thing if they wanted to too. You know, I don't know. I always feel like for the remakes they really should undo Aerith stuff. And this is coming from a person who played the original Final Fantasy VII, loves the original Final Fantasy VII. But I feel like it's been, what, 30 years? It's about time that we can do something different. We can deviate from the thing. Take a swig here a second. Okay. So, you know, there's that. I'm sorry for the pause there. I just went to sip my water. Oh, here's another thing, too, man. How many of you are Zelda fans? How many of you have been rocking with Zelda? I'm gonna give you a very shocking take here. I'm actually not a fan of Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom in terms of the story. I'm sorry. Please don't cancel me. I've never been a fan of Breath of the Wild. I have, obviously, Breath of the Wild. I've played Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like probably the Breath of the Wild storyline should have ended at Breath of the Wild. I've never cared for the weapons breaking. I felt like that just gives it too much realism. I actually still haven't finished the Breath of the Wild DLC to, like, fix the Master Sword. and I probably should get around to that at some point when I'm bored. You know, I enjoy the open worldness of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I did all the shrines, I did all the stuff. I don't know, something about Breath of the Wild just felt like a very open world game that there wasn't much going on. Like, in Breath of the Wild, you explore the open world and you explore all these areas, but there's not a whole bunch of stuff to do outside of, like, the sacred beast things, I think I have to call it, those, like, mechanical things. And then on top of that, like, there's not anything else to do besides the shrines to be able to get level up. And I know for a lot of people at that time, because it was one of the first Switch games, I think it was really revolutionary and stuff, but for me it's like, it's a good Zelda game, but it misses a lot of stuff. Like, I feel like the story also in Breath of the Wild is quite lacking compared to some of the other ones. Like, here's a hot take. You know what's my favorite Zelda game? It's Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I love The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. If you haven't guessed anything from me in the games that I play, I love games that feature love stories. I love games that have star-crossed romances in them. I love games where two characters aren't meant to be, but they somehow end up able to be together. I eat that shit up. I like that stuff. It makes me happy in video games. I always loved Skyward Sword because there was always an implied relationship, unlike the other games, between Link and Zelda. And for those of you who don't know, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword is a direct prequel to Ocarina of Time. It's actually, within the main timeline of Zelda games, considered the very first Zelda game, because it doesn't even have Ganon in it. The villain of it is the Mize, who does and says things in the end of the game that eventually it puts a curse so that Ganon can actually exist. Ganondorf, in particular. So what I really like is that this Zelda and this Hero of Time, Link, ended up populating the Hyruleans of Ocarina of Time, and as well as Majora Mask. Everything that ever happens in the Zelda universe is thanks to them staying down on Hyrule, coming from the Sky World down there and deciding that they want to live together there and populate the race. I think it's such a great game. It's such a long game. It has a lot of content that's really fun to do, because you can visit the Sky Worlds, and you have, I forgot, the flying bird mount that you have. I know a lot of people don't like Skyward Sword because of the, like, motion controls, and they have the Switch version too, which kind of recons a lot of that stuff out, so, like, if you don't want to play with the motion controls, you can. But I think that was another thing that I really liked about it, despite the fact that it didn't always work, is that the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, like, really with the motion controls, really gave you such a sense of immersion. I had it on the Wii. I did not buy the Switch version of it. I've always been interested in it, but they never put the damn game on sale because it's a Nintendo game. God forbid Nintendo ever put any of their damn games on sale. I'd love to play through Skyward Sword again. I would love to even stream Skyward Sword, but I don't have composite cables for my capture card for the Switch. I would have to look into getting composite cables and seeing how much they cost. If they're like $30 cables, it's going to be, like, not good for us. But I would love to get some because it can make life, like, so much... excuse me, not Switch composite cable. The Wii composite cables, because I wouldn't mind playing that. Or going back and playing, like, Super Mario Galaxy 2. I was thinking I'm playing Super Mario. I can't do Odyssey because I'm not going to delete my file after getting all those fucking moons. There's no way in happening. But I'm thinking I'm playing the Super Mario All-Star Collection. I have the physical version of the game, which has, like, Mario 64, and doing, like, the Mario 64 streams. As well as maybe... I never have finished Mario Sunshine to this day. Maybe that's something we should do to our Dread Nights. I'd really like to play, like, some older stuff that I haven't done that's, like, on my bucket list, just to have, like, some fun with it. Ooh, Greninja is really giving us a real run for our money here. But I really would like to go and play. I think we'll do Mario 64 next week. We'll start and see how it goes, and if you guys enjoy, we'll play it all the way. I can't do it all on one stream, but we could do it, like, multiple installments. If you guys enjoy it, we could do, like, Super Mario 64. I love Mario 64, it's one of my favorites. But Skyward Sword, if I could get, like, the composite cables, I could do it. Because, like, getting it on the Switch, unless someone's gifting me on the Switch, I don't really want to spend that type of money right now. I'd have to wait for sale, or, like, it has available in a Walmart that I can pick up. But there are always laptop channels, so the state of itself and whether I can do something or not is always a big deal to me, too. you know, whoever could do it. That doesn't work anymore. It used to be, I guess they patched that out, where you could grab somebody and use Bowser's forward B grab, and you could actually, like, suicide yourself in the game, suicide in the game, and be able to actually be able to, like, 1-for-1 there, and you would win the game that way. I guess it doesn't work that way anymore, unless his recovery was there, but I think I just died there by myself. That's fine. I'm surprised they must have patched that out. Wonder when they did that. Because I don't read the patch notes in Smash Bros. The way I probably should. You know, so I'm thinking I'm doing that in the future. We will play League of Legends. I'm hoping to get to it this week. I know I've been saying it for a while. I want to get back into League of Legends to kind of give it another try. Because I know some people who weren't even part of the channel really were interested in seeing me play as a newcomer. So I think we'll definitely give that a shot as well. I have a lot of ideas. The problem with really stuff that's going on in the channel is either I don't have enough time in my personal life to be able to, like, do every idea or record every idea that I want to do in a spare amount of time, and then because I'm dealing with the laptop issues where sometimes that laptop will crash. Like, sometimes I'll do my recording, and if I go to play a game after recording, the game will crash, and it takes like 45 minutes to an hour sometimes to get my computer restarted to play it. Sometimes, depending on the game that I play, pay no attention to low battery. We're gonna keep rocking and see how long it goes. The low battery icon, I should have charged my Joy-Cons before stream. I will remember that in the future. But yeah, you know, so I would really like to... I thought I was going to be able to smash their spiker. I got a little too greedy there. I deserve to get punished for that. But yeah, you know, it's just, there's a lot of ideas I have. It's just a matter of, like, the computer cooperating with me, and if the computer isn't cooperating with me, having the physical time to do it. Because it's so difficult, man. There's a lot of stuff that I'd like to do, and I just don't have the time right now to do it, or the computer's not really being super cooperative for me to be doing it. Like, I have thought about going back to Twitch and doing some Twitch streams on Twitch. Because, like, YouTube, like I talked about earlier, the algorithm lately hasn't been very kind to me, so I feel like divvying up and diversifying again. I've seen a lot of people switching over to also doing Twitch and YouTube. I don't think I want to do Twitch and YouTube at the same time, like multi-streaming, because that's, like, stressful. I don't want to play for restream. I'll be honest with you, I'm cheap. Because I don't feel like that's going to really benefit too much. And, like, I have install base on... My install base, ironically, is higher on YouTube than it is on Twitch, because I just don't stream on Twitch much, if ever, lately. But I was thinking on, like, going back to Twitch and doing some Twitch stuff. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, I'm tired. I didn't really sleep too well yesterday, but I'm thinking I'm maybe going back to Twitch in the future. Not permanently, but I feel like doing, like, a Twitch stream here and a Twitch stream there. See how it goes, because I'm already affiliated on Twitch. So, you know what, I can actually get actual monetization, which would help. I have monetization, I guess I should say, for the channel. The thing about Twitch, what I don't personally like about Twitch, is that their discoverability really sucks. So, like, you have to hope that somebody you know raids into you to be able to really get people to, like, hang out on your stream. And then, the other thing about it, too, is, like, Twitch culture is so much different from YouTube. I don't mean that in a necessarily mean way, but the way, like, VTubers act on Twitch versus the way VTubers act on YouTube is, like, apples to oranges. Like, you'll get really kind, positive people on YouTube communities and YouTube things. Like, every new person that's ever come to my YouTube channel here that's from the VTuber scene has been, like, very positive and nice and friendly. And then, like, I've had people who've come over from VTuber on Twitch, VTuber Twitch, when I was doing Twitch, and, like, they're some of the most... I'm not saying all, but I've run into some very toxic VTubers on the Twitch side of things, and, like, the culture is different there, right? Like, people have a little chill. I try to keep things mostly clean. I don't tell lewd jokes. I never tell lewd jokes here. You know, because that's just not my style. I don't really do that. I'm not knocking anybody that does it, but that's not me, right? So, like, I try to keep things kind of PG-13 with a curse here and a curse there. I mean, if I have to say shit, or I have to say fuck, I will say it. I'm sorry, YouTube. That's just kind of how I roll. But, you know, let's see if I can hit her with this. She should get caught here, right? She should get caught here. If you're asking and you're coming in while I'm playing with Smash Bros, we're just doing friendly matches here. Nothing serious, just, like, I'm not playing tournament, so I'm not treating it like a sweaty tournament. I'm just chilling, vibing, having fun with my audience, in case you're wondering. Yeah, but, you know, when it comes to, like, Twitch, it's a different culture. People are a lot meaner there. People are a lot more toxic there. People are a little bit more plus 18 there, I guess. I guess because that's just the culture in general. And on top of that, like, Twitch is interesting because Twitch people want you to act like a clown, and they want you to act with lore, and they want you to do this and do this. And, like, that's another thing that really Dread Knight's, like, I think that's the part about VTubing that has me kind of burnt out still. Even though I've been doing my best to kind of work through it and having fun and playing the games that I want to play, and interacting with all of you the way that I want to interact with you, and presenting myself the way I want to present myself with you. But like, you know, there's a group of, not an actual group, but there's a mentality when it comes to VTubing where it has to be, you have to have lore, and you have to play a character, and you can't, like, God forbid you really talk about yourself, or you know, like, break that fourth wall. They will get mad at you. They will want you canceled. They will shun you. They will tell you you are an outsider. They don't want things done that way. You will get kept out of VTuber community because of that. And I've always kind of felt like when it comes to VTubing, and this is not really dick, like I've been in Black Sheep, right? Because I don't do lore. I did as Kagari Jinro because I had a manager that was managing me at the time and thought that they wanted me to be basically a Hollow Stars Light. And they even, like, wanted to push me to join, like, Hollow Stars. And that's not, like, me, really, right? I don't like lore. I don't like smoke and mirrors. I don't like playing a character. It doesn't make me happy to do that stuff. I get upset when I have to play a character because I don't like to be fake. I'm not saying people who do it are fake. Everybody's like, a lot of VTubers really, they're just like, a lot of them from that particular thing are either people who are like actors or people who, you know, they're people who like to roleplay, I guess. Not even actors, let me not say that. They're people who like to roleplay, right? They're people who really get into these characters and invested in it, and that's what they want to do. And that's fine with them, right? I was a cleanups, man. But I don't want to be a character, right? I don't like being a character, I like being me. I like presenting myself away. I like gaming. That's always been my focus here. And maybe that's not what's welcomed in the VTuber community. Maybe because I do things differently, that's always going to put me as the outcast with a lot of people. But, you know, if I'm not me and I'm not myself doing this stuff, then what's really the point of me doing it, right? Because I'm not going to be entertaining if I'm trying to, like, be fake with you all. And if I try to be fake, I'm probably not going to be happy doing it. Like, there's a reason why I don't play the games that people want me to play. Like, I got asked a question a while ago why I'm not playing that Izoi game, that one where everybody's playing it now, like the stream game, or do you make a character in something? First of all, my computer wouldn't handle it. My computer probably will burn up, or it'll completely die because it's going to be way too graphically intensive, and my computer's already on its last leg fighting to survive. So I can't run it for that reason. The second thing is I don't like games like that. Like, oh, why would I jump on a bandwagon trend of something, right? Like, there's so many streamers that stream that because they either had the sponsorship to stream it, or because they saw their really popular streamers streaming it, so they wanted to jump in on the action. Which is, like, the thing with VTubing, too. A lot of people get frustrated because they're like, well, why am I getting any viewers? How the hell did you get 10,000 viewers when you were doing your thing, when I was very popular on? What I ended up doing was I just did things that other people hadn't been doing at the time. So, like, nobody as a VTuber was playing Diablo 3 back then. Nobody as a VTuber was playing any type of Diablo game. Nobody was making guides like that. So I was able to convert a lot of my early audience that weren't VTuber watchers into VTuber watchers for me because I presented the material as a regular Diablo 3 content creator. And that's how I really got my foot in the door with, like, VTubing, where people, like, really gravitated to my videos of Diablo content as a VTuber, which I'm very proud of that work. It's a shame we can't do more of it because there's just nothing else for do, and Diablo 4 I've talked about it. Nobody is interested in watching any Diablo 4 guides I do, because nobody likes Diablo 4 as a game. So when somebody doesn't like a game, you can't really do anything on it. That's how I got, like, my break, and then, you know, when I did the movie watch-alongs, I used my film degree that I have to be able to put a different type of perspective on it that you don't really get from other people. So I can talk about lighting, and I can talk about themes, and I can talk about, like, the vocal score, and I can talk about camera angles and shot list, and other things that people find very interesting. And that's why those videos over my channel do well, because I've always tried to be, for the most part here, relatable to regular people who don't know anything about VTubers, because I know that a lot of people that watch VTubers are gonna watch VTubers because they like cute girls. There's nothing wrong with it. They like cute girls, but they're not gonna watch me because they don't want to watch me. They want to watch cute girls. And a lot of people who already have VTuber or VTuber watchers watch people who they're already familiar with, or that are, you know, people that they just watch. It's fine. So I always knew going into this that I was going to have to convert people who don't watch VTubers to be my audience. And it's funny because I actually do check who, like, is actually sub to me that's public to see who they watch. And I was very surprised by the numbers, because I went to their profiles and looked to see if they watched any other VTubers. And currently we have 743 subscribers here on the channel. Of my 748 subscribers, not 743, of the 748 subscribers I have on the channel, the majority of the ones that have public things don't watch any other VTubers besides me, so I'm their very first exposure to VTubing, which I think is kind of cool. You know, I've always kind of wanted somebody to, like, have me as their Oshi. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool. I don't really lean into idol culture, but I think it would always been kind of cool for somebody to say, Dread, you're my Oshi. Just because it's, like, something that I've never had, really. I've had people who I was, like, their favorite content creator, but, you know, because not a lot of my viewers are lean into idol culture or lean into VTuber culture, they won't, you know, they don't even know the terminologies. I didn't learn what Oshi, Kami Oshi was until I, like, met Rabbit. Before that, I didn't know any of that shit. You know, it's kind of funny because, like, Rabbit probably doesn't even know, but Rabbit, I watched Rabbit as Dreadscape Gaming when I had green skin, when they were very first starting on their journey, and they probably don't even know it, that I actually have always kind of been there in the chat very quietly. I might have said maybe one or two things when I was Dreadscape Gaming. I've always kind of actually been there, I guess, like, even though they probably don't think it sometimes. Am I gonna lose as Lucas? I think I'm about to take my first L today. Not like this, bro. Not like this. I had him too. Well played, Snake. Well played. I gotta lose one eventually today, right, guys? Right, guys? But, like, yeah, you know, so... But I don't do things the same way. And I know that bars people, some people. But I think one of my benefits that I don't do VTubing the same way as a lot of other people is I'm able to connect with people that aren't into VTubing, which is kind of cool, right? Like, I think it's so cool that for a lot of my regular viewers, I'm their first VTuber. And I'm glad that I'm able to entertain a lot of people. Like, you know, I say this a lot. I'm very grateful for the audience that I have. You know, I know not everything that I do lately pops off the way like a watch-along does, or when I did guides. But, you know, I still have, like, fun making content. I have fun entertaining people. I said this back when I even was Dreadscape Gaming on the channel. Like, if I could help somebody with a guide, or I could entertain somebody, and if I could, like, help just one person, just entertain one person, just make one person's day more brightful, more happy, maybe feel less lonely, then for me, I feel like I've done my job, right? Like, numbers are nice. I would say that, yeah, numbers are nice. Numbers aren't everything. I've had numbers before, and I'll tell you, you know, I'd rather be able to hang out with these guys straight nights. I'd rather be able to, like, hang out with another big who comes in here and hangs out all the time, which I appreciate, or I appreciate, Wizard Dude Plays Games hangs out here. I appreciate Shuffle and Draw that comes in for the Yu-Gi-Oh streams. Like, I remember who my regulars are. I remember who comes in. I remember when Riley Smiley came in, the mysterious White Rabbit. And that was kind of cool. They were a viewer for, what, like 2 weeks, I think? And I don't know if Riley's still subscribed to the channel, but thank you, Riley, you know, for partaking in those chats for the Dragon Ball stuff and stuff. That was cool, too. Like, I remember everybody comes through. You know, obviously it's a little bit easier because I don't have to, like, millions of subscribers, and I don't have, like, hundreds of thousands that I have to worry about, so I'm able to remember faces. I remember another one, Laura Valentine, that was, like, a creator that made, like, they wanted to make, like, Star Wars, The Old Republic videos, and I actually watched a YouTube video of theirs. So it was like a 6-hour fan edit that created, like, of their created character, which I think was kind of cool. Because I've played Star Wars The Old Republic way back. So I think that was kind of cool. So I, like, you know, I appreciate those people. I know who lurks. Who doesn't lurk on my channel. I appreciate those lurkers, too. And I appreciate everybody that comes through. You know, for me, if I'm able to entertain even a small fraction of people compared to other people, that's fine with me. I'm happy with that. I've done my job. If I make one person happy, that makes me happy, right? Would it be nice to get back to how things were in terms of viewership? Definitely. But, you know, even if that doesn't happen anymore, I'm fine with the body of work that I did. How many VTubers in my position could say that they VTubed for 4.5 years and they had the success that they had, and they built up their community and they had fun experiences? Like, hey man, when I was on Twitch stream, I got to play with Tabor Hill from Fortnite. Tabor Hill on my IRL is actually a close personal friend of mine. I got to play in Tabor Hill's streams when he streamed on Twitch. How many people can say they got to, like, stream with a very popular content creator, has 1 million subscribers? It was cool. I got to play Dead by Daylight with Yerv. This controller is probably, battery's gonna die pretty soon, and I'm pretty scared for that. I got to play Dead by Daylight with Yerv and hang out with Yerv in his Twitch streams when Dead by Daylight was really popping. Have a lot of fun. I'm very grateful for that, because Yerv was one of the coolest people that I ever met in Dead by Daylight. Super chill, super kind. You know what? I always wish him best in how he's doing. You know, there's Lorraine, who also I know who lurks in my streams and stuff. I've lurked in her streams on Twitch. That comes in and they'll lurk and they like my statuses. There's people on Blue Sky that aren't here that I know are subscribed to my channel that hang out and thing. I do greatly appreciate all these people. I'm giving all your roses and stuff, you know, because I don't know how much longer Dread's gonna be doing this, right? Like, I gotta be honest with you, we're hitting year 5 in May, assuming the computer, like, survives this. And I've had, like, the craziest ride ever, guys. We went from high viewership to some low viewership. We had some rebanding phases. I came back as Dread. I had myself headhunted from VTuber corporations that wanted me, some that didn't want me, some that couldn't afford me, some that just I would never have gone because the rules were just way too crazy, and I would have never fit in those places the way that went. Like, my VTuber journey has been kind of crazy. It might have not been the most successful as other people would, like, think, but I'm very happy that I had it. I mean, you know, when I started this channel during the pandemic. I did it. You know what? Because, like, I had a friend that said that he wanted to start a YouTube channel. I thought it was kind of a fun... He wanted to start a Twitch channel. And I thought it would be kind of cool to start a YouTube channel, because I already had this YouTube account for a year prior to this. Like, my account will say it's a 5-year channel, but I haven't actually done... I didn't start making videos till 4.5 years ago. Technically, I had this channel 6 years and 4, but I digress. That's not the point. What ended up happening, you know, was, you know, I'm happy about that stuff, right? I'm very proud of the work I did. I'm very proud of the videos that were very successful. I'm very proud of the community that we built here, even if it's a smaller community. I'm very happy that we have the members of the Dread Knight. I'm, you know, happy that at one point people had considered me even for higher positions and corporation stuff. I'm happy, you know what, that I got to meet some people, even if I never really got to interact with them as much. You know, I think the people at Hollow Live are pretty cool. I think a lot of them are happy, you know, cool people. I know we don't have different styles of the way we create content, and, you know, there's rules for reasons, you know, so that, I mean, I'm very happy I met Rabbit. I think Rabbit was one of the coolest, kindest people I ever met in this space. Very, very kind to me, always, and very, very supportive. And, you know, like, I can't stop ever faking Rabbit. Like, I'll be honest with you, if I had one takeaway, if I stopped making content tomorrow, or, like, things happen, like, I think probably the thing that I was most happy about during this whole journey was that I met Rabbit. 100%. Like, that's the one thing that I would say. You know what, that's the thing I'm most happy about. obviously, I'm very happy also for you viewers. But like that was the most positive experience I've probably ever had in VTuber space of doing things. So, you know, for that, I'm very grateful to you, Rabbit, if you're watching. You know, but like there will be a time when I don't think I'm going to be able to do this anymore. You know, because either the computer craps out, maybe I die. My hands are very cramped up these days from overuse of playing so many years of video games, both professionally and both, you know, just for content. The hands very cramped up a lot when I game now. So there's going to be probably a time where my hands are not going to be very usable anymore. It's something that could happen. I know that even my hands are kind of on borrowed time. I'm going to eventually lose my reaction time and stuff. You know what? I don't know. I'm scared about certain things too, because like I've seen other VTubers that have been doing things as long as I've been doing it that spend a lot of time talking, more time talking than I do, but I've spent a lot of time talking the same amount of times that they've talked, and I'm concerned that maybe stuff that happened to them with their voices might happen to me. I never really thought about it, but then I started thinking, like, recently, I've had a little bit of a cough, and I know, like, somebody else who has a little bit of a cough, and it's because they've destroyed their voice from content creation. Now, that would be crazy for that to have happened to me after 4.5 years of content creation, but it's a concern. I don't know how long my voice will ever hold up doing this stuff. Maybe I will physically do something to damage it. Now I'm a little bit concerned about that because I started seeing it happen to people, you know. You know, my eyesight will eventually get bad. I might not be able to play video games. I might not be able to carry a conversation. You know, there's a lot of things that could possibly happen. So, you know, at this point, when I'm making content, I try to go along for the ride and enjoy the journey, not so much the destination, and enjoy how much ever time we have left. You know, we'll hopefully get to the 5th anniversary and the computer will hold out, but, you know, eventually one day I'm going to try to turn this thing on and it might not go back on. It's a possibility. It's a possibility that kind of sucks, but I know it's a possibility, and that might be where it's time for us Dread Knights then to, like, say our goodbyes. You know, because nothing usually lasts forever outside of death. And, you know, how much longer will Ryuji Dread go? You know, there's VTubers who have quit and stopped VTubing that have done this shorter than me. It's crazy, man. Like, I've seen so many VTubers in the last 4.5 years that just get discouraged because they're not getting the viewership that they want, or they're not getting the audience, or they want it to be like the next Moria Calliope, but they don't get those numbers. Now, you have to remember, like I always say, like, it's always good to follow or want to be like some of those big time, like, VTubers and stuff. You have to remember, like, when it came to Moria Calliope and all the people from first generation of Hololive were backed big time by a very big company with an owner that had a lot of money and a lot of resources. So although obviously they had a content creation journey before that, so they also had an established audience, their VTubing journey is going to be much different than the VTubing journey of, oh shit, the controller just went bad. I'm gonna have to plug in the Pro controller. We're gonna end pretty soon anyway. I'm gonna go for like an hour 50 because that Pro controller is, like I said before, it kind of dips downward, so it will break. Like it shifts downward. Let me continue my thought while I try to get the controller ready for this. So bear with me because I gotta figure out how to even get it to work. But like I was saying, yeah, with Moria Calliope, and there's no disrespect to Moria Calliope or anybody from that first generation of Hollow, a lot of those people had a bigger head start than any normal indie VTuber would have had. Because although they had to audition for it and they would have had like indie VTuber thing, when they made it onto the scene, they had way more money. So like, if you're comparing yourself to more, like they had a lot more financial assets is what I'm getting at. So if you're comparing yourself to Moria Calliope and you're like, oh well, Moria Calliope did this and they did this when they very first started, when they were like one of the first EN, that's not a fair assessment to do because Moria Calliope, first of all, had an already established fan base prior to that was going to join and watch Moria Calliope. And the second thing about that too is Moria Calliope had way more financial backing. I'm not connected to the internet on my Switch. I never do. Only when I intend to play on the Switch. Yeah, only one battery died. Okay, I'm gonna switch the controller here. So please pardon that. Oh, you can see some of the games I've been playing recently. Alright, let's see if this works. The controller, I might do bad here and lose because if I think I can't even get it, like it's still not working. Why is that? Let's see if that works. Okay. Sorry, it took a while. So you never really compare yourself to a big VTuber that has like a lot of financial backing and it's backed by a corporation, because that's not like very fair. Because if you're like somebody that's just starting out, you don't have people that are paying for advertisements to show all your content to people. You don't have that type of resources to go out and buy like the most expensive models. You don't have the, you know, just focus on being you. Don't focus on being Mori Calliope. Don't focus on being like Randon, and don't focus on being Nimi Nightmare. Don't focus on being Koseki Biju. Don't focus on being Regis Altar. Don't focus on being Crimson Ruse. Focus on being you. Focus on you, because a lot of those people are in a different type of VTubing position than a lot of other creators, so it's not fair to make that assessment as to what's going on with you based on what they do. Okay, I'm gonna try another Luigi game. Hopefully the controller allows for us to do something. If not, then I will play one more as Cloud with a disadvantage on this controller, and then we will dip out for the day. But that's my advice to VTubers, right? Don't compare yourself to bigger ones, because they're in a different position than you, and even the ones that come back after graduation have way more financial assets and resources and already established fan bases than you. Just focus on establishing your small community, and trust me, I know from experience, because I have my regulars that always still come back, that have been coming back for the last 4.5 years. I know I have regulars who just became regulars a year ago right now, and they are still here. You know what? So focus on those people, those original community members. Focus on those people, focus on those few that come back, make them happy. That's my advice, man. Make your regulars happy. Don't focus on any other stuff. Are we going to be able to get review here? Okay, good. Nice. I think I can... I didn't want to go for a down. I was going for a forward smash, but because the controller constantly tilts downward, it makes it a little bit more difficult to actually take stocks off him. So this is definitely... After this match, the next one I'm going to dip out. Because I don't have another Joy-Con I can use there when he really drifts. That's my advice. Sure. Also, Dread Knights, like I said, I do also greatly appreciate everybody that joins the Discord. If you're not a member of the Discord, definitely make sure you check that out on our YouTube channel here. I would like to get more members in the Discord. I would like to get more people in the Discord. I'm not the most active person on my Discord because, like I said, I have a very busy day in my life. You know what? I have a lot of personal stuff that goes on, and I'm practicing for tournaments that are coming up, and I'm practicing for other things, and I make content. And besides just producing these streams that I do, I also make short video content. I'm also on TikTok. I'm also on Starlight, which is the TikTok equivalent on Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky uploading stuff. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram uploading content. So I do a lot of stuff besides just the YouTube end of things to be able to do what I'm able to do. Like with Twitter, it's kind of a nuisance here because I feel like I'm like I feel like a lot of my stuff doesn't get shown on Twitter because I don't pay for Twitter Blue, and I don't know if maybe I'm definitely not shadow banned because I checked with my IRL account, and I don't think I'm ghost banned because people like and interact with my stuff when I comment. But I feel like when it came to my VTuber Twitter, like Twitter really has done a lot of suppression on it. I feel like when it comes to any person who's a VTuber account on Twitter, unless you're doing mass followings, which will get you suspended anyway from the platform. Like, trying to be a VTuber Twitter in this day and age versus VTuber Twitter before Musk took over, it's way more difficult, which is why I don't really invest a lot into my Twitter. Like, if you want to really interact with me, you should probably interact with me on Blue Sky if you're on the platform, because I spend a lot more time on Blue Sky interacting with people like Big Cam and a lot of other people that are there, like Akira. If you're watching, thanks for watching, buddy. Give you a name drop too, because I appreciate everybody that follows here on the channel. And like, I know like we're getting close. There's a little less than a month before year 5 happens, and I'm gonna have to probably set some goals and expectations as to what we should do in year 5. I will say this much: I don't want to blow too many things out of proportion, but I have been talking about the boss for a while now. The boss is my IRL self. I will be doing at some point, so I just want to brace people for this. I will be doing IRL content at some point. I will still be doing VTuber content, but like I think it would be cool to go to gaming events as myself and do like as myself content and upload it here to the channel. I would think it's kind of cool to like go to conventions, go to gaming events, and do like other things IRL self. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pack openings. I don't know if I want to do that, but it's something maybe we can do. There's a lot of things, like I have plans for more than just VTubing. Like I really would like to do, and I've said this before, I really would like to like pull a case on where I'm able to do stuff as my VTuber self, but able to also do stuff as my IRL self as well. So that's like something I've been thinking about year 5, but I don't have it etched in stone because like the last time I mentioned this, I feel like people targeted my Twitter because they're trying to gatekeep how you can do VTubing, which I don't, you know. I've talked about this before, Dread Knights, when it comes to VTubing. I've seen so many people try to gatekeep people out of this community, and it's crazy. Like, I've seen people try to gatekeep people out of VTubing because they're over the age of 30. I've seen people try to gatekeep people out of this community because they don't do lore. I mean, case in point myself, right? I've seen people gatekeep people out of this community because of the games they like. I mean, let's look at Pikaman, right? And you know what happened to Pikaman? She played a game that people didn't like from a certain community, got canceled, and then took a lot of time off, and fortunately came back. You know? Better than ever, as a different incarnation. I've seen people cancel other VTubers because they've had grudges against them because they don't like them. They have falling outs, they had things. I've seen the weirdest stuff as to why people can't be VTubers. You can't be a VTuber because you don't have a live 2D model. How dare you use a VRoid model? How dare you use that? How dare you use those 3 means to be able to do content creation? How dare you? What do you think? That your model is terrible? I've heard everything, man, when it comes to gatekeeping. You know what? If you enjoy making content, don't listen to people like that. Yeah, it's really hard. I just messed up because I was trying to go for a different move and it wouldn't let me do it in the game. But like, you know what? I really wish people would stop gatekeeping over frivolous things in the VTuber community. Just because it's like, it doesn't benefit anybody. And like I always said, VTubing should be for everybody. You know what? Of all age brackets, of all ethnicities, of all backgrounds of life. And this shouldn't be a thing. This is like a thing that young people do. And it really, it's gotta stop, man. Like, it's gotta stop. Because if, realistically speaking, a lot of the people that even these younger VTubers are that are trying to gatekeep people in the 30 and up range out of this community, if they only knew that the majority of the content creators that they watch, and the majority are people who are within the 30-year range, right? So, like, you know, I don't understand how somebody will criticize a 30-year-old VTuber, but to watch a 40-year-old, oh god, Maximilian Dudes. Maximilian Dudes is 40. Spirit Hunter, or excuse me, the Spear Hunter is in their upper 30s. People like the Spear Hunter, right? And, you know, there's a lot of our content creators. You think Justin Wong's like 39, man. If you enjoy those other content creators and you are trying to gatekeep, like, people in their 30s out of VTubing, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, there's people watching Mr. Beast. How old do you think Mr. Beast is? There's people who watch Moist Critical. Why do you think Charlie wears a lot of the time a hat? People watch Asmongold. How old is Asmongold, right? Like, be realistic here. A lot of your favorite content creators are people who are over the age of 30. Or at the age of 30. So, like, to try to gatekeep people out of this? Out of VTubing for shit like that? That just seems, like, hypocritical to me. You can't be okay with watching, like, millennial content creators and then not be cool with millennial VTubers being in the sphere. That's just ludicrous. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Alright, guys. With that being said, let's go back into just chatting. I'm not going to play any more Smash Brothers because controllers, as you can see, they're getting very, very drifty, and the Joy-Cons are not fully charged, so I don't want them to repush it. I hope you were entertained by the Super Smash Bros. Brawl stream. Not Brawl, excuse me, Ultimate stream. I do really greatly appreciate all of you hanging out with me. I hope some of the topics I talked about today was fascinating. You definitely got to know a little bit more about me and like my childhood growing up and my educational background and missed opportunities. I like telling some of these stories. I like to be able to do it on Smash streams and Diablo streams because I have such a high, not like high level of play, but like I can turn my brain off for these type of games and do well in them and like continue to converse with everybody and talk about topics like that. Like I can't really do it with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel because in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel I have to spend so much time focusing. I have to spend so much time and effort dealing with like the card things, and if I don't pay attention to every move going on, I can make a critical mistake, especially if I'm playing in ring, which doesn't allow me to do that. Like if I'm playing Fortnite too, I would have to spend a lot of time focusing. I would like to play Fortnite again at some point, because I never got a win with Hatsune Miku, which I want to do. Like I have a lot of things I'd like to do. It's just finding the time to do them and having the computer work with me, and like just having the availability to do it, which is like the really frustrating part of my content creation like days these days. It's like finding the time to do it, finding the energy to do it because I'm like always trying to avoid the burnout feeling that I'm having lately, mostly like dealing with social media like I've talked about before. And also, just access, like being able to sit down in the computer because like I stop recording now, and I'm probably not going to be able to use my computer to play Master Duel, but I have to grind out Master Duel. Or let's say I want to make another video right now. If I try to do that and I put on a game, another one, my computer will probably crash and it'll take an hour or two. That's stuff that I deal with now. This is the reality that I live in when I make content. It's a miracle that we're still doing content. I have done my best to like find ways to be able to get content out to you guys. I've had to get creative, very, very, very creative. But I hope you enjoy all the effort that I put in. I hope you enjoy the stories I tell. I hope you enjoy like my personality. I hope you enjoy being here. I really appreciate having all you members of the Dread Knight here. It makes my days better. And you know what? I hope I'm able to make your days better as well. You know what? We're a community here. We've been here what 4.5 years, going on 5. May 4th, May 4th, May 4th. 5 years as a VTuber. Interesting, right? But anyway, guys, I'm going to take my leave now because my voice is a little tired and I'm running out of breath. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for laughing with me. Thank you for chatting with me. Thank you for lurking, even. I do greatly appreciate it. And most importantly, I appreciate you.